Quadfather podcast, WATP.
The Backyard Boys podcast, hosted by Quadfather. For many years now, they've had different lineups, different people on there. Used to be a show with Stevie Lou. They had a falling out. There's been a lot of different people who have come and gone, but Quadfather's been the constant there. And I guess they're a Dabbleverse wrap-up show where they talk all things Dabbleverse.
Yeah, that seems to be it.
Okay.
They have a small audience, a large panel, and they like to talk about the Dabbleverse. Who doesn't love that?
Sure. Mm-hmm. So what were they talking about on this recent episode?
Well, as we've been discussing and I've been learning, it's crucial that you take a side if you're going to comment in the Dabbleverse. You can't just keep your mind open. You have to have allegiances. And Quad has very strong feelings about Shulie, and he's been naming every episode about Shulie and really covering this as much as he can. And he did not like when I was on his show. It didn't go well for him, and he's been kind of like battling me in the mirror ever since I left. He keeps going over these points when he's by himself, and he did that for 3 or 4 episodes. He'd keep bringing them up and doing that thing that you would mention with John when he would be like, I know you're going to look at this, Carl. Like, you're in his head. And you can see
it's
him
out of nowhere. Right.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. You can see him still, arguing with me on his show 3 or 4 episodes later, and I guess that wasn't enough. So he's like, I got to get what Granny Hall would call a real Jew in here and have them defend Shuli like Adam did. And then I can tell him all the things that I've been thinking of for the last 4 weeks and own this guy and feel better and get over it. Unfortunately, that's not what happened.
So this is Schmuel Buckman who joined the show.
Yes, who I'm not familiar with. What is his history? Where does he come from?
He's a big fan of the Dabbleverse. I see his name popping up all over, especially on the Shuli network.
Did he have to be named Schmuel? It makes it so hard. We're trying so hard here. And
poor Adam.
Really? You got Shuli and Schmuel.
Yeah, I know. It's been a tough go these last couple of years too.
Okay. All right. But either way, this went so poorly for Quad that I would like to start at the end, when everyone's just talking over each other and kind of it's chaos, and Quad is reduced to just saying the opposite of whatever his guest is saying, and that puts him in a bad position.
Nonsense. Everything you were saying was nonsense.
You win every argument. I
know that.
Can I say?
No, I don't win it. I don't win every argument.
There's
no doubt about it. I get owned all the time.
You know everything. You know what Shuli knew, when Shuli knew it, that he
I never
lied
said I
about
did.
that.
Never said I did.
He did this.
Never said I
Jack
did.
is on saying Shuli took money.
Okay. I just want to, real quick for context, I'm sure most people know what we're talking about, but Shulie's producer, a guy I knew as Iso Doe, who actually lives in the Rochester area, was caught with CP on multiple devices, hard drives, whatever it is, and was sentenced to, I think, 5 years in prison. He had been off of Shulie's show for about a year before that, and then it was discovered that he was convicted of this thing, and so Shulie came on and did a live stream where he basically was like very distraught about the whole thing and talked about donating to this charity that tries to help children who have been trafficked and stuff like that. And since then, mainly Vince the lawyer, has been pushing this narrative that Shuli knew well in advance of him making that video. And this seems to be a really big deal to guys like Quadfather. They talk about it all the time. It's a very important thing. When did Shuli know about ESO, and was he hiding that from people until it finally came out and everyone knew about it? So that's what they're discussing here. Mm-hmm. And you just heard Quadfather say that he's never claimed that Shuli knew. He never said that. And Adam, you could go back to previous episodes if you wanted to.
I'd heard him say it.
Multiple examples.
And then I realized I didn't even have to go that far. Here are examples of him saying that Shuli knew before he said it, just from this episode alone, including before and after he denied saying it 3 times in a row.
when we're saying like Shuli knew before the day he made his little crying video that that entire situation was going on long ago, long before that.
How do you know that?
I mean, it was out there. Like, there's no way that even Carl didn't know about this shit. Like, why would he come out and make a crying video if he already knew? Because he's a disingenuous fuck, would be my point. Yes. That Shuli's a faker.
So he play acted that entire crying video. That's what you did.
Yes, I think so. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
But again,
because I think he would have known that before that day. Like I'm saying, if you know before that day and then you come make us a crying video, go fuck yourself.
Right. But you don't know that he knew that beforehand.
But I will say that I think that he's disingenuous and knew a way fucking more than he's letting on about what happened with fucking Isolina.
Not based on anything other than your feelings. But that's not really what you've done on this show.
I think what everyone is saying that he knew all about this for way longer than he fucking knew or is telling us about. That's what the problem is. We all think that he knew about the charges or what was going on and was too much of a bitch to come out with it.
Shuli knew. You haven't said Carl knew. You haven't.
No, I said Shuli knew. I said Carl knew. I would. What's that they knew?
You're using
what I'm saying they knew is that there was charges against him before they came out with the statement that they. Shuli probably knew before the crying video, most likely.
He would.
I feel like there's no way that he didn't know before that day. I don't believe it. Wouldn't believe it.
No fucking way.
It's impossible.
Improbable.
Indeed.
What a show. 3 hours of this. Just going, I bet Shuli knew. Oh, Shuli definitely knew. Carl definitely knew. These are Stuttering John talking points. Yeah. Is what they're doing now. They're just regurgitating things a moron says. And I've said this before. I'll just say it again. It's so stupid to say that I knew anything about Iso Do. I didn't even know his real name. His name is not Iso Do. That's the only thing I knew him from. And they go, well, this is what Stuttering John says. I don't know if Quadfather says this. Stuttering John goes, well, it had to be big news in Rochester if this guy was caught with all this CP on their devices. Well, there's other fans of the Dabbleverse in Rochester, right? There's hundreds of people in Rochester who follow this shit. None of them decided to go on Dabblers Anonymous or the WATP subreddit or anywhere and show the news clip or the story. How is that possible? Maybe no one knew. I'm just throwing it out there that nobody fucking knew. And it's weird to watch something like this, Adam. And I'm sure you've been in this situation before, considering your profession, where there's always people speculating about gossip and you know the truth. And you go, well, these people are just fucking wasting their time. They have no idea what they're talking about. Yep. What kind of losers spend so much time talking about something they know nothing about? They're just speculating randomly. For a long time, too. I speculate about shit, then I move on. Like, whatever. If Point Dabble Point was about the same thing every week, we would have definitely wrapped that thing up and been done with it.
He's also playing coy, and he's playing the same game that he played with me. What does Shuli knew mean? We know what that means. Right. We know what you're implying.
He goes, I didn't say that. The name of this episode is Shuli Knew.
I didn't say that. So why did you have this guy on, Quad? I mean, when confronted with anything, you refuse to change your mind. You want that person to be bad, and you won't be satisfied until that happens. But unfortunately, you're not as smart as the people you're having on, and you're not as smart as the people that are watching, and they can see what's going on and how you seem like a spoiled baby crying in a toy aisle that didn't get what they wanted. You'll literally just say anything to make this person feel bad, and you're so bad at it. They just get empowered. So it's like why I like watching it.
Yeah, Schmuel Buckman seemed to do a pretty good job of getting underneath Quadfather's skin on this episode.
And what's really interesting is how we got to this point where he's kind of losing his mind. And that's because it was brought to Quad's attention that a member of the BYB panel had taken a screen grab of some boy with his shirt off and spread it around. That's what Quad was asked. He would say, I don't have the source. I don't know. Here's an anonymous accusation. What say you, Quad? And here's how he responds. Well, actually,
Quad,
here's the accusation.
I have a DM that I received earlier today that one of the people on this panel sent out somebody's kid's shirtless pictures, a young boy. But
I'm not a young boy.
I don't know
didn't
where
send
that
anything.
information came from. Not that I don't know where, I know where it came from, but I don't know that it's true. And I'm not going to associate that person and the other people on the panel with that behavior.
Well, who
If
sent
that's
it
the
out?
case.
Who sent
telling
it
you.
out?
We're
Well,
not
then
going-
don't bring it up, dude.
We're
If you
not
ain't gonna
Well,
fucking
was it
say
their
nothing,
own
don't bring
kid?
it the fuck up.
Oh, weird. So if you don't know the facts, you shouldn't bring it up. That's weird.
And it wasn't even a question. They're like, this is how life is.
Right, yeah.
codes,
What,
there are
what are you
morals.
thinking? You're just like going to speculate and start accusing people of stuff when you don't know anything about it?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do such a thing? Like,
And this is the best part right here. Here's how a proud gun enthusiast and patriot like the Quadfather handles an anonymous secondhand threat. Here's how he handles it.
Your kid
You're
accidentally
stupid enough
walks in-
not to
your kid
protect your kids
accidentally
from live
walks
streams.
into a picture that you don't believe is being sent
How
out.
did I put-
You're on the
YouTube,
internet
and then
on
you're-
with your camera on.
and
Are
you're
you
taking-
fucking retarded?
But why would you screenshot that and then send that out to other people?
I put
That's
out
kind
the
of creepy.
YouTube
You
Why
don't
don't
think
you
that's
protect
creepy?
your own kids?
You're okay with that. So you do that. So you'd be
Well,
perfectly happy sending
obviously.
out the
Obviously.
kid accidentally
Obviously.
being photographed.
I'm so confused
I mean,
right now.
I'm
Yes.
very confused.
Yes, obviously I had no problem with doing it because I did it. Yeah, motherfucker.
so, should I have my hypocrite police shirt on? Is that what you're saying here, Adam?
I think we got 2 tickets to the hypocrisy policeman's ball.
I think you're right about that. Well, Quad really steps in it. And that's the problem with not understanding your argument, just being, I don't like Shuli. I don't like Carl. So I'm just going to say this stuff about them. And then you go, yeah, but you did this thing. That's the exact same thing. Yeah, of course I did. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Weird.
Quad doesn't understand. I thought he was open-minded, so I went on to do his show. He convinced me otherwise.
He's a proud boy. You thought he was an open-minded proud boy?
I thought he was. I thought he was open to listening. Yes, I understand. I'm naive. I get it.
No,
But
I love that
thought-
about you.
I thought we had a common enemy, and at least we'd be able to have a civil discussion. But this is dangerous, and this guy doesn't see it. He's so dangerous when you will not back down from your point of view, regardless of what the facts or the world or everyone you love tells you. That's dangerous. That's how people end up, right, in bad situations. And this guy, you can just see him being like, just like him and Chad showing up to KB's house with a gun, being like, I thought this is what you wanted. I don't understand.
Right, yes. All right, what's the next clip you have on here?
Oh, here he explains how even though, yes, he did take a picture of a shirtless boy and spread it around to his friends, you cannot blame him for doing that.
Oh, good.
I don't know, Quad. It sounds a little creepy to me that you would take this picture that was
I
not
know, and
intended,
everybody's been trying to.
that was not
Everybody's been trying
intended, and
to
then
say
send it out to
that
other people.
somehow
I don't
a
know.
fucking
That sounds
thing.
a little bit creepy to me, right?
I did that with my son.
You're
Only thing
saying
is,
it.
he's
I'm not.
29.
It didn't bother me at all. And if you go look at his Facebook profile right now, you'll see his kid with his kid's fucking shirt off. So apparently the kid walks around with his shirt off all the time, as you can go look and see for yourself. All over the place. His kid walking around with his shirt off. So apparently that's the thing. It's because his kid walked in behind a screen and it's my fucking fault because he's a bad parent? I don't fucking think so.
Wow.
I think you labeled this one, well, look at how short her skirt is. So what do you think's going to happen?
He was asking for it.
A little
He was
victim
wearing a short
blaming.
skirt.
A little victim blaming going on
And
there.
where were his parents? Quad, if you're ever on a stream that you turned on yourself arguing about how clothed the boy was. Just end the stream.
It's just not working out. Yeah. Just pivot. It's not going well. In fact, in this next clip, he does pivot. He decides to go on the offensive, which is probably, I guess, the only thing you can do at this point.
You're insinuating.
What am I insinuating? What am I insinuating? What am I insinuating? What am I insinuating?
It sounds like you're calling me a piece. You fucking piece of shit.
That's an
I'm
absurd
not.
insinuation.
Well, then what the
I'm
fuck
not,
are you
but
trying
I'm
to
saying
say?
that it's an odd behavior.
What are you trying to say
and
then? Spit it out.
What am I supposed to think about that? Why would you
tell me?
Why would
Why don't you
somebody
say
take
so?
a picture, even if
Why
it
don't
was
you
off
say it?
Facebook, and send
There
it to
are a
other
million
people in
reasons.
DMs and text? Why would they do that? What was the point?
Because I said it was like, hey, motherfucker, why don't you get your kids out of the screen? What the fuck are you doing?
Okay, but then you would send it to that person, right? Not to other people?
Well, anyway, long story short, I put it in chat. Fucking, it got sent to fucking Luke of the Bind. Not by request. That person was like, hey, should I send it to him? I was like, I don't give a fuck what you do. And he did. And that's the end of the story.
Luke.
End of the story. That's
I'm not a PDF file. I was doing it to intimidate him. Okay.
He's
cool.
like one of those catch a predator groups that like entrap people, but instead of contacting the authorities or the victims or the parents, he just sends it to his friends.
Yeah, right. Like, what are you accomplishing with this?
And you see, he's confronted with truth, and he just shakes it away. He goes, nope, this is what you are doing to Shulie. You don't have to like Shulie. It's very easy not to like Shulie.
There's
But
a few
this is
people who
what
don't
you
like
were
Shuli
doing.
out there, yes.
Yes,
Right.
and they're valid points. You don't have to bring this stuff up, and it doesn't have to be this. And when it is done to you, you are fucking apoplectic. You will not even tolerate. And watching all your boys suddenly snap to life for the first time in 2.5 hours, like, what is this guy doing? What is he? He's doing what you do, and you're out of your mind about it. So maybe fucking stop it.
Well, I remember when we played clips of you on this show, and you said, look, this whole situation is gross. No one's happy about any of this that happened. I'd prefer not to talk about it. And Quad's like, I don't want to talk about it either. And fast forward 3 weeks later, and it's still the major topic on the show. What are we trying to accomplish here?
The only reason he's talking about it is because everyone keeps bringing it up. And I told him, you're the only one bringing it up.
Yeah, it's the name of the show. It's the name of the episode.
But I'm trying to hate Shulie, so I need
Right.
something.
Yes.
And he makes it clear right here in this next clip that it is not, I mean, he says it out loud as if we don't know him. He says it is not right to make assumptions about someone's motives based on their actions.
Okay.
I'm glad that you brought that here to use it against me. That's funny. You're almost like another, all these other disingenuous fucks that all of us have
I'm
an
not
issue with.
disingenuous, Quad. I'm just
You're
making a
completely
comment that
disingenuous. You would have brought that up to me on our phone call
I
at any
didn't.
point.
I got that DM about an hour ago unsolicited.
Whoa, hold on a second. You would have brought that up on our phone call. Is this a pre-interview that he's doing?
That's what it sounds like.
Is there a call screener before they have someone on the show? What do you want to talk to Quadfather about? All right, yeah, you can get on the line. And then all of a sudden the guy comes out and goes, Stuttering Joe's at the baseball game. Like, hang up. It's Cardiff, hang up.
We talk about projection a lot on this show, but very rarely are there such clear examples. On his last episode about us, he was obsessed with how WATP follows this script. And not only were we not offended, like we really didn't know what he was talking about.
Right.
We were trying to figure out, like, he was obsessed with this idea that when someone on this show deviates from the script, you lose your mind.
I get
told him,
upset.
you cannot
and he
handle
even,
that.
And then the next week he goes, well, they were taking the word script a certain way. I just meant like Carl has his talking points.
Yeah.
And if someone has a different opinion, he gets very upset. We just watched Quadfather be like, you weren't supposed to say that on this show. We didn't agree to this. What the fuck?
And I told him, he asked me, and I told him in a spirit of friendship, like, no, that's actually not how it goes. There's not a script. There's clips we pull, but there's no discussion about our points of view. And he said I was a liar and full of shit and a lot of other things because of it. And look at him now.
Quad believes everything. You know, he watches all these shows. He's involved in all of this Dabbleverse stuff. And there's a lot of people putting nonsense out about Shuli and who are these podcasts. And he chooses to believe that. Even though there's not only is there no factual evidence, there's no evidence of any of this stuff, but also there's a lot of reasons to believe it doesn't make sense because people tell them, no, that's not the case. I know it intimately, and that's not how it works. Adam goes on and goes, I'm a co-host on Carl's show, and I can tell you that's not how this works at all.
I know better based on no experience. Right. And it really, if you think I'm being a little petty, I'm being a little small, but he's choosing to use these issues to take down Shuli and to take down his enemies. He's choosing to talk about this stuff and weaponize it. And if you thought for a second or were fooled to think that he cares about this stuff, the second it was turned on him, he's explaining to you what constitutes as a bad image and a good image, and how when he does it in any form, it is absolutely acceptable.
Right.
And starts getting into the minutia of like how much clothing they're wearing.
But
Dude,
he deserved it, Adam.
Right.
You don't understand. It was okay when I did it.
There's few episodes of that Predator show where they're like, well, this guy had a point. She was asking for it. She was, come on. I mean, it's not his fault. She was good at texting. That's strong
He
texting.
might have thought 14 was a typo. We don't know.
You don't know. Like,
the
but all
4
of
and
a
the
sudden
8
when
are
it's
so
you-
close to each other. Yeah, right.
When it's Quad, you're given the benefit of the doubt, and that is scary. You can't just, because you think you're in a position of power, decide to wield it.
How sad is that one of the only people who actually watches this show, Adam Busch, is just hate watching it? That's so sad, Quad. Sorry, man.
That's the one thing we all have in common. It's an anger addiction.
That's true. Did you pulled a couple of other bonus clips? Did you want to hit any of those?
The only one that's worth is, I think, the last one I sent you, that number 9.
Okay.
Because he keeps saying, Quad, that any criticism of him is unwarranted because they're doing a comedy show and it's just jokes. These are just jokes. They're jokes.
Good.
Now, it's crazy to me that someone who's never done stand-up, never studied it,
Never told a joke.
never told a joke,
Yeah.
thinks him and his buddy Honky Kang are the ones who should take the Holocaust jokes. They're the ones who should take the hardest stuff. Like, we're not going to start with puns and knock-knock jokes.
Yeah.
He's going to go right to whatever the toughest material is. And here's why, with examples like this.
How much does a Holocaust?
Fair point. What's
too
the headline?
much. They will say too much. It's too much. I will give you 1 penny per. No.
$6
Anyway,
million.
Yes, we will get off that topic very quickly.
Whoop, that didn't go well.
Nope.
He was into it, though, at first. He was waiting for the big reaction from that.
He's the reason George Carlin and Howard Stern got crucified by the FCC. It's assholes like this who take advantage of that to, you think you're on the level of Richard Pryor. You think you and the great minds should be making these kind of jokes based on what? You're not even a podcaster, Quad. And I just, if I may.
I'm sorry that he's not coming to Vegas. I'd love to talk to Quad after this now. It's too bad.
I would love to sit down with an interview or just a one-on-one anytime. Please explain to me how I'm wrong in a calm environment, in a friendly environment. Tell me what I'm missing, because you tried to humiliate me and failed. You tried to humiliate this guy and you failed. You refused to give up on camera a single point. However,
He's saying that Shuli protected a pet.
yes, that's what he's
These
saying.
are very serious allegations
And
that he
by the
just
way, why
throws
would
around
somebody do that?
nonstop.
Why would somebody do that?
Why would somebody do that? Because if you listen to people like VTM, they immediately associate it with, well, he must be into that too. They try to bring this leap of like, well, he must be just as bad.
That's what he's saying, but he won't admit it in person because he's scared and he's not proud. He's insecure. So he has to just say no when the camera's on. But then today, if I may, some breaking news. In the description for the new BYB episode that's coming tonight,
Yep.
he says in fine print in the episode description, after the blow-up with Schmuel Buckman on Monday, we think we can put ISO in the vault for good until we have any proof one way or the other on who knew what and when.
What an amazing epiphany. But so he must have just slipped out of there or something and just realized, like, oh, maybe I should stop talking about shit I don't know anything about and stop accusing people of horrendous things they didn't do. Wow. Amazing.
Or you could just do it in real time on camera and
good
not
point.
just
Yeah,
have
that's a
good
pussy thing.
show,
You're
but
right.
like make a friend and maybe do some good, you fuck, you dumb fuck.
That is kind of a pussy move right there, where it's just like, just types it out. All right, well, we won't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Who are these podcasts?